Now, this is another property that I bought.
Auburn.
Auburn.
Mrs. Nepo.
Nepo, Mrs. Nepo. Was that Mrs.? Yeah, Mrs.
Yeah.
Nepo was the old lady that lived in the house. And this was a house that the owner lived out in Grants, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And shared that garage down there. There was a common garage down there.
Yeah.
And partitioned down through the middle. And this house was on the left, and the one I bought, and the other guy owned the other garage. And then this was an empty lot. Eventually, an apartment building was built there. I never did see that apartment building that was built there.
But remember we rented this out to a black guy too? So
yeah.
that must have been after Mrs. Nepo died, or didn't she die or something?
She died, yeah.
Yeah, she died.
She was so old, and then she just died. She got
Yeah.
so frail.
Yeah.
And but this was a fixer-upper house also. But we bought it for $25,000.
Yeah.
$5,000 down.
Yeah.
And the guy carried the paper of $20,000
Yeah.
over 20 years or something.
Probably 20, yeah.
20 years, and on an 8% assumable loan. He did not want to get paid off. He just wanted the 8%.
Yeah.
He figured 8% was good.
Yeah.
I said, okay, good, and we'll make it an assumable loan. And so I bought this for $25,000, and how I found this property was I sent out a whole bunch of little notes. Would you be interested in selling your property at?
Yeah.
And sent it to all these out-of-town owners. And send out hundreds of these letters, hundreds of them, all handwritten letters.
Yeah.
And then different people would call up and say, you sent me a letter, what's this all about? And one thing would lead to another. Pretty soon I'd wind up with the property, and this is a property that I wound up with.
Yeah.
Now I eventually sold this property for $50-some thousand.
Yeah.
Remember?
I think so. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
And
right.
then it had this funny wood on it.
Yeah. And everything was yellow because of the smoke. She
Yeah.
smoked like a
Chimney.
fiend.
She smoked like you wouldn't believe.
She was an alcoholic, and she was a shopaholic.
A shopaholic, alcoholic. She was very frail, real thin, didn't eat right. She spent all her money on alcohol and smoking, and the inside of the house smelled like, oh, it was gross. This must have been the roof on the back or something. I don't know what that was. No, that's the garage. That's that garage. Really poor construction. Everything was poor construction here. Cheap old garage. But the garage was used for storage, not for a vehicle.
Right.
Just used for storage of stuff and junk and so forth. This is the back of the house underneath. Now this is another property.
35th Street.
35th Street that we bought.
Remember the tree? We had it all trimmed up.
Yeah. Now each time that white car is here, so
Well,
maybe we own that white car.
No, that was the helper, Scott.
Oh, Scott. Okay, and there's our yellow van.
Yeah.
And that driveway, we shared the driveway with somebody else, which is not a smart idea, but that's the way it turned out.
Yeah.
And then we bought that property as an investment, and that tree, those fronds were, then there was a garage in back there. And it went to the alley.
Yeah.
That garage, and we're going to walk right back there right now. And that garage, I converted that garage into another unit.
Yeah.
Now, legal or illegal, I don't know about that issue, but we converted it into another unit.
Yeah.
And it was a garage, but when I got through with it, it no longer wasn't a garage, it was a little house back there.
Yeah, a little studio.
Little studio. Converted it into a studio. The garage actually leaned to one side and everything. I had to prop up the garage to make it level because it had rotted away so bad it was leaning. The whole garage was leaning.
Yeah.
Propped it up and put a bunch of cement in there. And made a new floor in there because the floor had all broken up and everything too.
Yeah.
It was really a tear down building, but I didn't tear it down. I propped it up, made it straight, put a floor in there, put doors. Where that door is where it leads into a bathroom and a kitchen right there. Right there. Oh, it's showing it. Okay, yeah, good. Right there, yeah. That goes into...
I think that was the kitchen.
That was the kitchen. Just a little kitchenette is all it was.
Yeah.
And this is the studio right here, see?
Yeah.
And poured that cement in there after I propped the thing back up, and then we laid carpet on the cement. And then this is the house itself.
Yeah.
50-year-old, at least 50 years old.
Yeah.
Old house.
Was that house or was that land? That wasn't Landis, was it?
No, I don't think so.
No, it was that house.
It was that house on 35th Street.
Yeah.
And this was the kitchen going in there. It's just not enough light, hardly to capture it, but it's just an old, whoops. Now let's see. And there, and it had that tree, those fronds really, where that ball is, were hanging way down practically to the road.
Yeah.
And then I had somebody go up there and just clean up that ball. Cost, I don't know, $500 or something, you know,
Yeah.
to trim all those fronds off that thing